Don't worry about it. Hey, everybody, this is Jim Gass with Dave Myers and Vinny Zelval. Yay. It's Zelvalier, right? I was 20 years I've known you, Vinny. I've never pronounced your last name right. Zelvalier, right?
Del Valle, yes.
Yeah, I knew it. We all call him Vinny, but his name's Vicente. So we were just goofing around with Restream.io's screen sharing features. We're going to fumble our way through this today, but our goal today is to talk about LinkedIn profiles, some LinkedIn lawyer rockstar profiles today. We're going to dig into them in a minute. We've got 3 that we want to focus on, and then we're going to talk about the pros and cons on their profiles. Like, who are we to really criticize them? They're the rock stars, right, guys?
Yep.
You guys can't be crickets today. Now, Vinny, you're lagging on here, but I'm sure that we're okay on the stream. So
yep.
Anyway, guys, I'd like to real quick, if you don't mind, I'd like to review just real quick. Well, before I get started, I'm in my car. And I think it's important to point that out because Dave's in his bathroom with a shower curtain behind him. Just kidding. I'm in my car. I'm on vacation today down here in Myrtle Beach. And man, try to find a good spot in a hotel on the beach to live stream from. So forgive me for sitting in my car, but we'll get this done and we'll have some fun with this. But I'd like to start by talking about some things that recapping a little bit from last week, guys, some things that we feel are important on LinkedIn to be a LinkedIn rock star, right? You guys want to kind of add in on some of that stuff from last week? Don't jump at one time.
I think one of the things we talked about was, what kind of content you're putting out on there, your consistency, how regularly are you doing it, people expecting to see it. If you say you're going to show, are you going to show? Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
One of the things that I focused on last week, and I mentioned a couple times, was, actually adding things of value to whatever conversation you're using LinkedIn to inject yourself into. And so instead of just being sort of a me too, what are you adding? What's unique? That's what the person I'm going to talk about this week, I really appreciate the way that they're doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's not just, yes, we're here to make money in our lives and our businesses. That's what we're here for. That's why we do and put forward the efforts that we put forward. But that's not exactly how you need to do that. That's selling, right? And that's not what we're here to do. We're actually here to contribute to the community. And I agree fully with you, Dave. You got to give, not just try to take. And if you're trying to take, you're not a rock star. Rock stars are those people that, you look up to, you think they're awesome, but they're giving you something, They're giving, look at a real rock star, right? What are they giving you? The Ramones. I mean, they gave you music. They gave you art, right? Mm-hmm. That was their message. That was their content, right? What did they take from you? Well, they took money for concert tickets and T-shirt sales, obviously, and so on and so forth. But they gave something of value to you to get to that rock star status. So, I think it's important. I think that also, guys, that if you're going to be a rock star, rock stars always start off in their garages. It's the garage band, right? And so I'm sure that, like anybody else, LinkedIn
or in their car.
Yeah, right. Let's hope. Actually, I'm sure there's plenty of rock stars start off in the back of their car, which is where I'm sitting. Think about this though. That before they were rock stars, they were just trying to make it, right, doing the best that they could, and so they didn't have great branding. They didn't have awesome publicity shots and stuff like that. They didn't have record labels. They didn't have people running their sound for them. It was a mom or a sister or a girlfriend or a brother or something like that helping out, right? And so what I'm leading up to is that LinkedIn profile, right? Once you've gotten past that point, which comes from doing what you guys said, the messaging, consistency, and giving, right? Then you need to elevate your brand. Then it needs to match all that stuff you guys said, right? So I think the profile is really important. I think your imagery is really important. And I think it all has to complement what you guys said. It doesn't come first. Isn't that funny? A lot of people put that profile picture first. Hey man, I got to get the most awesome shot, or I got to get the most awesome background. Hey, I think I'm a victim of that. To tell you the truth, guys, I think I went down that path myself, and I'll probably rebrand, and hopefully you guys will rebrand later on as we find ourselves in this medium. So yeah, I think that's good. So Vinny, do you want to get, or wait, we said, yeah, Vinny, you're going to get started. Do you want to get started
sure.
with your LinkedIn Rockstar lawyer?
Yeah, sure. So I just want to start and say, I am by no means a LinkedIn expert, right? I'm starting down this journey as well as others, but I am seeing what I see as a higher level of person who is on LinkedIn that I want to copy some of their traits, right? Because they're getting a lot of following, they're getting a lot of attention, right? And to me, they're doing a good job, right? They're doing a great job, actually. And this person is Frank Ramos. Frank is an attorney. He's a speaker. He's also an author, right? And when you go to his page on LinkedIn, right, the first thing you see are those things, right? He has branded his page so you can see right away. You see his podcast right away. You see the different things that he's been doing, right? And he's been doing this since 2016. Now, I haven't been following him that long. I didn't really know about him until recently, right? As I'm getting myself more into LinkedIn and trying to find ways to get more involved in the LinkedIn community. But I think the profile, building the profile itself, I compare it to like a booth at a show. That booth has to have certain things to draw you there. That booth has to be able to tell you quickly, basically what it's doing, right? And that's what his profile does right away. You can tell, right? The summary right under his name, real quick and succinct, to the point. That it tells you the different things that he's involved in, the different things that he's doing, and what he's trying to push out there, right? And so I read an article in law.com about Frank Ramos, and it says that he started doing more LinkedIn initially to promote his books, and he gives his books away for free because he wants that information to get out there. Right, but he started initially just to promote his books, and in that process, he learned and he saw that there were a lot of young lawyers out there that wanted more, that wanted more information, and he set his goal to do that. What he wants to do is he wants to be a mentor. He wants to be a leader. Someone who gives them something to these young lawyers that are getting out there. And it's not just law advice. It's there is advice about law and litigation, but there's also marketing advice and life in general. And from that article, Ramos said that LinkedIn provides him a forum to project and promote his thoughts on the practice to other people. And so, as far as content, he has a variety of things in content. Like I said, he talks about law, he gives advice and wisdom, things that he's learned along the way, right? He talks about marketing and how to market. How he gives other people advice how they can learn to market on LinkedIn and how they can get started in the same process that he started. He has a podcast, a regular podcast that he does. He just recently started a video, and so he did his first video recently, and he's going to do more of those. He also does a Zoom call. I saw announced on his LinkedIn profile where he's again trying to pull those young attorneys in to again give them a forum to talk, to ask questions, and again he's giving something back, right? at the same time, he's doing marketing, he's promoting himself, and that's led to things like, invitations to speak in different places around the world, right? And so he's had those opportunities, and as he's gained in followers, as he's gotten out there and gotten more into this, it's definitely gotten him some attention. And one of the things he said in the article was, if you don't know where to start, just pick a word count that you're comfortable with and just do it every day, right? And that's how, when I started following him, the majority of his stuff was text, just a few sentences. And he's evolved and grown beyond that. But yeah, just pick a word count, and coming from somebody who has started and taken it pretty far, I think that's pretty good advice, to just pick a topic, and just do it every day, right? And as far as what he shares, he also says that he doesn't post anything that he wouldn't share with his own children, right? That's his barometer, right? So he'll post about a lot of different topics, but a lot of lawyers are concerned about what they would post. Would they get in trouble? Where are the lines and things like that? But he says, anything that he can say in a public setting, anything that he can speak about in a public setting, anything that he can share with his children, are really the types of things that he posts. And I really like some of the stuff that he puts out there. Even though he's targeting young attorneys, right? I think some of the stuff is useful to me as I, start out on this LinkedIn, goal of getting out there, getting to be more known, providing content for people. And so I think he's done a great job. I think he's definitely one of our rock stars. And, a rock star to me might not be a rock star to somebody else, but he's definitely doing a great job at it.
Yeah, what I think is amazing, Vinny, is as I scroll through his profile right now, and we've talked about him plenty of times, the guy does amazing things with just text. I think, look at this. 99, maybe 95% of what he's putting out there is text. And look at the number of followers he's got right here. 52,000 followers on text posts. Yep. That's amazing. That's really, and they're consistent as far as what they're doing, right? They don't go all over the place. They're not selling. They're just giving tips and ideas, and inspiration.
And they're multiple times a day. It's not just once, and it's not always at the same time. But he's, one of the things he wrote is in one of his posts is one way to get ideas on what to post is carry around a little notebook, right, and write those ideas down as they come to you throughout the day, right, and then post about them. It's simple, right? Yeah. A lot of times we're trying to think of, I know I'm in that trap of what do I even post about? I can post this article I read is really interesting. I think it'll grab people's attention. But as far as we come up with thoughts all the time, and his idea is write it down and then post about it, right? If it's something that's beneficial to somebody else, just do it.
And the guy's books are great. The one thing I like about what he's doing right now is starting videos. And if you watch his videos, he's helping people find his literature, not really pimping it. I mean, he's not selling it, so he's not he's giving it away. So he's really just helping more new attorneys find it and help them find their way. Dave, you're an attorney, Mm-hmm. If you started off in your career with Frank Ramos in your ear, hey, here's a great book.
So I'll tell you, there is he is, and I'm going to just throw a name out there. The name back when I was a young attorney was Foonberg, and he had this, thick book, How to Start and Run a Law Practice, and it was this whole thing like, hey, every young attorney out there needs to read this book if they have any interest of doing their own thing, right? I see someone like Frank being the 21st century version of that guy. Of that, if you're a young attorney and you want to have a mentor, this is someone that you should be paying attention to. This is someone with a lot of information. And here's the other thing that I liked about Frank, and this is something that anyone who, in my opinion, wants to be successful in LinkedIn has to do more than post and ghost. All right. He puts stuff out there, and then people respond, and then he responds back to them.
Yep.
Showing that he's actually paying attention to the other people that are paying attention to him. That makes people feel valued and far more likely to go back and continue to interact with him. You don't get to those kind of numbers by just, fire hosing things out there. He's doing a lot more than just sharing the information. He's interacting with people a lot.
Right.
Yep.
And that's a huge additional step.
And one of his goals that he stated was that he wants to leave an impact. He wants to change the industry, right? He wants to make sure that he leaves it in a better place. And so that's, and he does that, and it shows in his LinkedIn profile and even in his books. Like you talked about the book from that, what was the author? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I believe it was Thunberg. I mean, we're talking 15 years ago. I don't remember what I did last week, but I'm 99% sure it was Thunberg.
Yep. And so Frank has also written some books about law practice, and he believes that everything can be done through checklists, right? And he has a book on that. And so it takes a giant book, right, and it condenses it. And one of the things that he does well is he brings it to the point quickly, right? He brings his statement, his thought, whatever it is, to the point quickly. So I can see how you can do it through a checklist. I mean, it takes a little bit of art, it takes a little bit of other things as well, but running the law firm itself, right? And he has a few books that are useful for those types of things.
He's very succinct.
Which shows an incredible amount of thought being put into what he's putting out there. It's
Correct.
easy and lazy to write very long things.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a lot of work to boil something down to its essence and just get it out there and make it easily understood. And he does that really well.
Yeah, he's got it down to an art form, and that's what makes him one of our rock stars this week. So
that's right.
I wanna move on. So great job, Frank. We really appreciate and respect you, and can't wait to see more of your videos coming out. Vinny's a huge hero, a huge fan of you. You're a hero to so many lawyers. So keep it up. We really appreciate it. So I'm gonna move into mine, and I'm always excited to talk about it. I bet you guys can't guess because we talked about it, but I bet our audience can't guess because I can't really shut up about how impressed I've been with Cassandra Gaines. So guys, can you see the screen there okay?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So you got it. Good. Well, that worked out. So, sakes alive, Cassandra, I've got to tell you, to me, she came out of nowhere. All right. I've been on LinkedIn. I've worked hard at building a network on LinkedIn for the last 4 years. And Cassandra just one day came up in my feed, and I'm like, well, what's this all about? Obviously her logo caught my eye. It's big. You can't miss it. But what was interesting is obviously she wears rock shirts too, and so there's nothing wrong with the person that wears rock shirts, rock t-shirts. But I went back and looked at Cassandra and looked at her history, and a year ago she was not doing at all what she's doing right now. She's a transportation attorney, which is unique and very niched, and she was out there being a lawyer and being a consultant to that industry, but had not found herself on LinkedIn yet. I mean, she was all over the place with media, the different types of media, the different posts. She was out there doing webinars and seminars and pumping those up. She, in my opinion, she's found herself over the last 4 to 6 months. And she has come up with this Madtropolis, right? Another branding thing, and it's worked for her. You can see if I for me, guys, I got to zoom this in. If I zoom this in, and you guys get in the zoom also. Did you guys get the?
Yep.
Okay, good. So she created this Madtropolis hashtag and live show, and has went just crazy with it. Now, what I really like about her is, first off, she tried for a really long time and she didn't give up. But I don't know where she came up with this concept of Madtropolis, and she went to the live stream show, much like the No Law Firm Left Behind went to a live stream show, and that is her platform. That is where she lives, and all she does is talk about transportation law. Now, I don't know how much of it. I know she's got her law firm still, and I really didn't dig into the law firm too much. I know it's out there. I know it's still a functioning law firm. I'm not sure how much she's practicing, so I didn't go into that because we were focusing on LinkedIn. And I want to be respectful. They can give you time, but what she does in her show is unique. So it's almost like she's taken that niche of transportation and then niched it even further. So about a couple of weeks back, she had an entire week where she did like 4, maybe I don't know if it was every day, but at least 4 days of live stream shows about transportation law. The first one, and I'm going to get it out of order. One of them was about the shippers. One of them was about the brokers. One of them was about the trucking companies, right? Okay. And the last one was like everybody come together kind of stream. So she like called out every segment in that industry and had experts in on that week, as well she does every show she does, it seems like. And they talked about the very unique things. Then the next week she blew me away and completely just wiped the slate clean and said, "This is awesome. We're going to, well, in my mind, I said, this is awesome." She talked about drug trucking, right? Shipping drugs, shipping legal marijuana, shipping, how that's brokered, the laws behind it. And it's like, wow, and actually that's a pretty big industry right now. It's a very fast and quick growing industry. And for her to like get down deep and dirty on that really fast, it really was amazing to see her, how she takes that industry and then takes a piece of that industry and just dives on it and focuses in on it. I wish I could do that. I wish I had that uncanny ability. Now, you know what? I don't see her post a whole lot more, but she does exactly like Frank does, Vinny, in that when and I'm going to go to her activity, when she's posting, all right, she posts something out there, she responds to people. She wants them to know that she's giving back to her audience and she's nurturing her audience just like we would expect, right? And to jump to 23,000 followers in really, I'm gonna guess, in a matter of 6 months. I'm sure she had more before. I'm sure she had a good start, but I can't tell you for sure that they all came in the last 6 months. But my gut tells me, given her Mad Gains live show, she did really good. Now look at the show this week. Tomorrow, she's talking about food trucking at a time when we need to worry about COVID, at a time when we need to worry about getting food to people and stuff like that. She's diving deep into food shipping food, right? I mean, it's uncanny how she comes up with these great ideas and how she talks to the audience where they need to be talked to. So this is why I think Cassandra is a rock star. Now she does a stream on multiple platforms with her show, which is good. She's really good with Zoom, but she changes the time a little bit, gets great audiences, has incredible experts. She had somebody from Amazon. I forget the gentleman's name from Amazon, and he was in charge of logistics. Obviously, she had this guy from USAT, right? And he's guys have been in business for a long time. Gets the best guests, on a great show. So that's why I think she's a rock star, guys, right there.
Yeah, with Cassandra, I'm going to say she does two things particularly well in my mind. One, she's done a really good job of branding something other than herself. So she has used LinkedIn very successfully for branding the stream that she's doing. Okay, so it's not just Cassandra Gaines; it's Mad Gaines, and Adtropolis, and there's a lot of effort put into that. So it's not it's obviously still branding her and her position as an expert in a certain area, but it's not me as a person, me. Okay, and so she does a really good job of that. Again, she's putting the spotlight on other people, and by doing that, she's bringing the spotlight back on herself. Additionally, and like I said, the same way with Frank, she and Jim, you mentioned it too. She does a really good job of interacting and responding to people, and so that's something that Frank and Cassandra both do a great job of being on there and being interactive with the people that are commenting and posting and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with her. She's done a great job. So we want to move into your rock star, Dave. Thanks a lot, Cassandra, for being a rock star. We appreciate and respect you. And Dave, you want to talk about your rock star?
Sure, let's go for it.
Go for it, man. See if I get this right.
Yeah, see if you can get him up there. And
sorry, I'm new to this whole, I'm no Cassandra. She's got a great stuff. Go for it, Dave.
All right, so the person that I chose, his name is Jeremy Evans, and he's new to my radar screen as well. He is, and we'll just put it right out there, he's a sports lawyer, okay, which first of all catches your attention because frankly, and I know from working in the industry, that's like one of the cool lawyer jobs, and so he's got one of the cool lawyer jobs, and he does a really great job of bringing that flair, of bringing that excitement that comes along with sports, and puts it in his LinkedIn presence. All right. So the things that I'm going to point out that I really think Jeremy's doing right. First of all, Jeremy's making use of the featured function in his profile, which is something that not a lot of people are using really well, but it adds a lot visually as well as authoritatively to your profile. So, Jeremy's he's a somebody, okay? He's been nominated to tons of lists. He's written about a lot. Here's an example where he's on the cover of Los Angeles Lawyers, and he's utilizing this highly graphic, highly visual feature called Featured in LinkedIn. And so he just does a real good job of that, okay? And everything about what he's doing seems very, very polished. So he does a great job of being thorough across every section of LinkedIn. He's got a bunch of information on his experience, a bunch of information on his education. And another thing that I was a huge fan of is the fact that he put so much effort into his volunteer experience. I mean, if we just read through here, the number of volunteer positions that he's held is really commendable. And he gives a lot of information about what he's doing here. So for a lot of people that just want to tout, hey, here's what I, will do wrong on LinkedIn. Hey, here's what I want to sell you. Here's who I am. Here's how great I am. This guy from the get-go is showing about, here's what I'm giving back. Here's how I'm volunteering. Here's where I'm involved. Okay. So I find that to be really good. The other thing, as I've mentioned several times, for Jeremy, it's about giving back. Look at this right here. Look at this number. Look at the recommendations. We've all seen the recommendations on LinkedIn. He's received 17 recommendations from people, but he has given out 5 times as many. He has written 5 times as many recommendations for other people than he's gotten back. Okay?
Wow, Dave, I didn't even...
written. That's a lot.
That's amazing.
Okay? And so for somebody to spend that much time touting other folks on this platform, again, he's giving. He is not taking. Okay? I mean, it's a huge thing. He's done a great job of utilizing projects as well, which is, where do those oddball things that we're involved in that don't fit neatly into one of the other LinkedIn sections? And so this is where he's talked about, the class that he's taught, the advisory positions that he's held, the different organizations that he's formed. He has really gone above and beyond of just saying, look, here's everything that's important to me. Right. And that's just the profile. So, the thoroughness of his profile is, to me, amazing. When we get into his activity, what I like is the consistency. What I like is the messaging. When it comes to his thread, he basically only has, 6 different types of posts that you'll see. Now, the media that he uses varies. He has video, he has podcasts, he has all the articles, text, etc. But all of his stuff is centered around this sports law niche or something related to it or something that doesn't distract. Now, let me kind of run through it real quick. He has, obviously, sports law related posts. Okay, so he's got articles about sports law. He's got his podcast that he does every week. He's got an article that he writes every week. So here's his last podcast, and it's just really good because it's all having to do with sports law.
Mm-hmm.
He has another set of posts that are not sports law, but they're still sports related. So, let's take this post, for example. This is not a law issue. This is just an upcoming outdoor concert series at Hard Rock Stadium in conjunction with the Miami Dolphins. So, while it's not sports law, it's still sports related.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another one. Here's an article they shared about how sports brands are starting to use TikTok to promote their, brands. And so now we're talking about, it has nothing to do with law, it has to do with technology, but it's still all about the sporting industry. So similar to how Cassandra has engaged herself in the trucking industry, Jeremy spends his time making sure that he's interjecting within the sports community and the sports law community. Then again, he's got a couple other personal-ish, culturally relevant posts. So we've got his Juneteenth Freedom Day post, and we've got, a Happy Father's Day post. But here's what's important. A lot of times, I think a mistake that people made is in LinkedIn, you want to be genuine. You want people to see you as a human being, okay? But if you clutter your activity with too much personal, non-related items, it can distract from the niche and the core message that you're trying to get across. What Jeremy's done is been so reserved in anything that's not related to his niche that it doesn't distract you. So he's done a really good job of keeping his message on point and providing valuable stuff. Okay, so I think that what he's done there is really great. The other thing that I like, and again, the same thing I said about Frank, the same thing I said about Cassandra, he interacts with his people that respond. So you'll see a lot of instances where somebody will comment on a link to his podcast, or someone will comment on a link to one of his articles, or someone will comment on one of the posts that he shares, and he's responding back. So I think that's a common thread we're seeing across all 3 of these rock stars is they are engaging with their audience.
And
he does it really well. So the big things for me is, what makes Jeremy a rock star, in my opinion, is he's very consistent in his message. He's laser focused on what he's trying to cover, almost becoming like a mini news mini media outlet, if you will. And he's just done a really great job of continuing to keep his entire focus on giving rather than taking. And as we've said multiple times on this podcast today, on this live stream today, it's about how are you giving back.
Right.
And Jeremy does that. He does a fantastic job of it.
He doesn't have to sell. He's not selling.
He doesn't.
He's just putting it out.
Well, that's a great point. Nowhere in his thread, nowhere in his profile does he start saying, you should hire me to do stuff for you. But I will continue to follow him. I will continue to check out what he's putting out there. Do I need a sports lawyer? No, I don't need a sports lawyer. I am far from an athlete, okay? But what he put out is significantly interesting, and it's valuable information while I might not be a world-class athlete, I am a world-class consumer of information. And so that's what makes someone like Jeremy a rock star for me.
There you go. All three of these players, all three of these people. Vinny, do you want to say? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Okay. All three of these people, we got to close it up here, guys. We're a little after 11 o'clock, and I'm sure people got things to do. All three of these people we put them here because we think that each individually think they're rock stars, right? But they don't sell, right? They have a target audience that they're trying to talk to. And they have a really unique way for each of them to do it. Frank, with his text posts, very succinct and to the point to a particular type of audience. Cassandra with her mad gains and trucking, right? And then Jeremy with his sports law and related information. These guys are amazing. And Dave, what you said was something important to me, in that you'll keep following him. I don't follow them. I don't need a sports lawyer. I'm not a sports lawyer. Hopefully one day my son Jackson's an incredible esports athlete, right? And sorry for all the esports athletes out there that I use the quotey fingers, but hopefully one day he does that and needs a sports lawyer. But what I watch these people for is to mimic them for our own success, right? I mean, Cassandra has influenced me to do different things. I wore rock T-shirts, by the way, for decades, right? So that has nothing to do with it. But I said, she's showing them off. I like that. I'm gonna show off my rock T-shirts. I'm proud of that about me. Why not do that? She did a live stream show. We were only doing recorded videos before. Follow. That's a good idea. Stay on a topic for your audience. And we have 3 pillars, and you guys have agreed we're going to stay on these topics for these 3 pillars. I follow them to watch their mechanisms, if you will. Not necessarily what they're saying, but more about how they're saying it. Would you guys agree that that's, if you're going to follow a Frank Vinny, you're following for not what he's saying, but more how he's saying it?
Well, I mean, I think even for me, he has things to offer. But yes, I think that as I look at what he does, I'm looking at ways I can do better and ways I can help others do better. And so, if you're looking to get started, follow one of these people, see how they're doing things, and start doing it in similar ways.
I'm going to close it up with this last line. I think I might have said it in the last show. Imitate before you innovate, right? I mean, that's how people get started. That's how little athletes and 6-year-old athletes become great big athletes. They imitate. That's how speakers, rock stars, so on and so forth. Imitate before you innovate. Thanks a lot, guys. Hey, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We're going to switch to technology probably next week and move into talking about Microsoft Teams, because we're speaking on it at a couple of events, and I think it's nice to lead up to that. Everybody's using some platform. We might even do some shootouts between like Zoom or Teams or some other platforms. So, guys, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your effort. You guys really put it in. You guys are rock stars in my mind.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Have a good day. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
I'm going to go hit a beach. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
All right.